All right. Now, joining us now is the co-host of America's Newsroom and the hit show, The Five, and a personal friend, and probably, along with David Portnoy, the biggest advocate for dogs in America, and the host of America's Newsroom, Dana Perino. Dana, great to have you.
I thought you were going to say pizza.
Well, do you like pizza as much as Portnoy?
I mean, no, I don't.
No. You know, I just love Portnoy. You know, an alpha male, Miss Peaches. It's probably the funniest thing I've ever seen.
So cute.
Let's talk a little bit, because there's a serious topic on the table here, and that is the safety, security of elected officials. And you worked in administration. You know what goes on behind the scenes. And we're going to get into more detail later. The one question I have is, how is it possible that a shooter got on a roof less than 200 yards away with a rifle, and we didn't know that? How did that happen?
So specifically, I do not know. I believe that the investigation will tell us that. I hope that it is much more quickly done than the JFK assassination investigation. Sean, that took 44 weeks to get done, and I don't think that the American public will stand for that in this moment. But Sean, last September, I was in Los Angeles, had an opportunity to co-host or co-moderate the Republican presidential debate there, and there were 7 candidates on there. And I just remember one of the questions I said was, the farther we get from September 11th, the closer we get to September 10th. What I think happened overall, in a big picture point of way, is that we are now living with a September 10th mentality. Remember, one of the things that happened on September 10th and then on September 11th is that law enforcement and intelligence were not talking to each other. There wasn't clear communication. So they had to deal with that. So now we get away from that. We've been fortunate. We've done a lot of good work. We've worked with partners. We've killed a lot of terrorists. But now we actually have other problems here that you have in law enforcement, maybe lax, not paying enough attention, maybe focused on other things that they shouldn't supposed to be. And you have an open border for the last 3.5 years, which adds to the uncertainty. And the terrifying thing to me is that we are in a very vulnerable situation at a time when our expectations for what we need from America and Americans as the most exceptional country, we need to do better for our own citizens, but it's important for us to be the leader of the free world. And I don't think that we look very good in this. Thank goodness President Trump had the presence of mind and the instincts to insist to the Secret Service that he had a chance to rise up and tell everyone he was okay, and to give that defiance and that warrior president mentality. But I feel like whether he wins the election or President Biden continues or if it's somebody else, we have got to get back to thinking like we did on September 11th in the afternoon, not like September 10th.
Let me ask you this. You talk about a September 10th mentality, and that is a very sobering thought, Dana. And I think, unfortunately, I believe you're right. And an issue that we have discussed here, many of us on Fox, I know you do on your show, America's Newsroom, and on The Five, and that is the issue of immigration. It is, I have no understanding at all why 11 million unvetted Joe Biden illegal immigrants have been allowed into this country from nearly 180 countries, from countries with terror ties, our top geopolitical foes, Dana, Iran, Syria, Afghanistan, Venezuela, Egypt, tens of thousands from China and Russia. Can you explain that? Because I'm making the prediction that it's not if, it is 100% when. We're going to get hit again. And I remember 9/11 like it was yesterday. But I do always add, I pray to God that I'm wrong, but I know in my heart I'm not.
We want to be right. Yeah. So one of the things that President Bush would say to us, and other presidents have since said it, and it's correct, is that if you want to harm this country, you only have to be right once. Our law enforcement and intelligence officials and citizens need to be right 100% of the time. And yesterday, Sean, it was so close to being a very different conversation tonight. And one of the things I was telling you earlier is as I was brushing my teeth last night before bed, I was looking at myself in the mirror, and then I'd look to the side, and then look back, then look to the side, and realize that's how close we were to losing former President Trump. And the reality of that, hopefully, is a galvanizing moment for all of us to say, okay, President Biden says we need to be unified. It starts with us. I hope that he feels that it starts with him. I'm on board. I want us to be more unified. I'd like to have some more policy debates about the border or about economics, about foreign policy. Let's have those debates and take the personal out of it. I think that we're willing to do that. Is the other side? I don't know.
You said something, and I just want to hone in on this a little bit here, and that is a September 10th mentality in this context. We've been told for 3+ years that the border's secure and the border's closed. And meanwhile, we can watch what's happening. And they've just flat out denied it to us. Or they flip it and then they blame Donald Trump, even though they had bragged about getting rid of Trump policies that were effective. And I'm just thinking that this is, to me, the single greatest national security threat in our lifetime, Dana. And I'm sitting here, it's like you're watching a train wreck about to happen, and nobody's paying attention. And I have a hard time understanding why they would ever allow that to happen. Do you have any idea why?
Part of me feels that it was really because they wanted to reverse anything President Trump had done, right? Like the blindness on the policy was to just erase any sort of border policy that President Trump had, right? So in the very first month, President Biden did all of that. And then they were so stubborn. And not only that, we have reporting from Politico that said once immigration became such a political problem that everybody in the cabinet just tossed it around like a hot potato. Nobody wanted to deal with it. Yeah. And you have Mayorkas, who's infuriating, right? When he says the border's closed, it's obviously not. We got big problems, Sean, but I'm honored to be here with you and all the team tonight, and this is going to be an amazing week.
It's going to be fun. Not our first rodeo, and it gets better every time. Dana Perino, great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.